Okay, on this question, we've got 66 randomly selected students. We're asked the number of pair of shoes they have. So let X represent the number of pair of shoes. The results are as follows. So we've got this table. And so what we're going to do first off is we're going to try to figure out the mean. Now, how do we figure out the mean? Well, it's a weighted average, actually. Let me make that. It's going to be a weighted average. How do I know? Well, let's make sure this table's making sense for you. This means a frequency is the number of students. So this means that 3 students have 4 pair of shoes total. They own 4 pair of shoes total. And 4 students own 5 pair of shoes. And 10 students own 6 pair of shoes. And 8 different students own 7 pair of shoes, etc., all the way up to 5 students who own 15 pair of shoes. That's a lot of shoes. Okay, so they want us to find the mean, the average. What's the average number of shoes these students own? What's their average number of shoes they own? Well, it turns out that the average number of shoes that the students own is a weighted average. Why? Because these numbers have different weights. Like, for example, 10 students own 6 pair of shoes. That's the most. Oh, and also 10 students own 11 pair of shoes. So those numbers are going to have a higher weight because there's more students that own 6 pair of shoes and 11 pair of shoes than anything else. They're going to have a higher weight than, say, the 3 students who own 4 pair of shoes. That's going to have a lower weight. It's a weighted average because the numbers have different frequencies. So if you look at the notes, if I can find the notes, where are the notes on this? Oh, there it is. No, that's not the right notes. Oh, right here. Calculating a weighted average. Multiply each number by its frequency. Total these, divide by the total of all frequencies. So, okay. So I'm going to have to go through this. I'm going to multiply 12, multiply 20, multiply 60, multiply 56, multiply 24, multiply 36, multiply 30, multiply 110, multiply 24, multiply 104, multiply 84, multiply 75, and then add these up. So what's the total when you add those up? I'm getting 635. So then you have to find the weighted average. You take the total and you divide by the total, the total number of all the frequencies. Total of the frequencies. So that's going to be 630. Divided by, what's the total of all the frequencies? 66. See, I know that already because there's 66 total students. So if you were to add up all these frequency numbers, it would have to be 66 because that's the total of all the students, right? 3 students that had 4 pair of shoes, 4 students that have 5 pair of shoes, 10 students that had 6 pair of shoes, etc. That's 66 total students. That's the total of all the frequency row there. It's got to be 66. So if you divide this now on your calculator, I'm getting 9.6212. 9.6212. That's the mean. That's the average number of shoes. It's a weighted average, right? The average student has between 9 and 10 pairs of shoes, 9.6212. All right, next comes the median. The median is a little tricky. So if you look at the notes, to find a median, it's kind of a little scribbly here. Oops, oh, that's not the right notes for median. It's up here. To find a median, there it is. What do you have to do? Here it is. To find a median, you've got to put the numbers in order from lowest to highest. If you have an odd amount of numbers, there'll be 1 in the middle. If you have an even amount of numbers, there'll be 2 in the middle, and you got to average them. We have 66 numbers, so we have 2 in the middle. We're going to have to average the 2 middle numbers. Okay, so let's go back to the problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very tediously write them all out. You don't have to do this, but I want to be super thorough. So here they are in order. So here's the order of all the numbers. First off, we have 3 4s. 4, 4, 4. That's 3 students that each have 4 pairs of shoes. And then 4 students that have 5 pairs of shoes. So that's 4 5s. Okay, and then 10 students that have 6 pairs of shoes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 8 students that have 7 pairs of shoes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 students that have 8 pairs of shoes. 4 students that have 9 pairs of shoes. And 3 students that have 10 pairs of shoes. Looks kind of scribbly there. Etc. I don't want to go all the way, but you get the idea, right? That's, like all the different students, 3 students have 4 pairs of shoes, and a bunch have 5, and a bunch have 6, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so to find the median, what do we got to do? Well, there's 66 total students. Divide that by 2, got to find the middle number. That's 33. But remember, this is an even 66, even amount. 2 are going to be in the middle. And I have to average them, add them and divide by 2. What are the 2 in the middle? Well, you got to find the 33rd number and the next one. So, okay, this is the first number, second number, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is tedious. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. Oh, did I get off there? Darn, I'm off a little bit. What did I do? 3 and 1. This should be 8. Oh, there should only be 4 5s. I blew it. There's only 4 5s. There's my mistake right there. Oh boy, it's bad to mess up. Okay, there's only 4 5s. And then start this. How many 6s? 10. So it's all wrong from there. That's a bummer. Back. I was trying to demonstrate how bad it is if you mess up. No, I just messed up. All right, so there's only 4 5s. So there's only 4 5s. So let's try this again. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, number 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So there's the 33rd number and the next one, which is another 10. Now, why? Because there's 2 in the middle. Remember what we saw on the table there? If you have an even amount of numbers, which we do, 66 numbers, an even amount, there's got to be 2 in the middle, not 1 in the middle. If you have an odd amount, if you had 65 numbers or 67 numbers, there would just be 1 in the middle. In that case, you would just take 65, divide by 2, it would come out 32.5, round it to 33, and you would just grab the 33rd number. There'd only be 1 in the middle, just grab that when you're done, if you had an odd amount. But we have an even amount. When you have an even, the notes say you got to grab the 2 in the middle. So you got to grab the 33rd, right? 66 divided by 233, and the next one. So these two are actually the middle. Average them. Well, that's the same number twice. The average of 10 and 10 is clearly going to be 10, isn't it? 10 plus 10 divided by 2 is 10. So the average is 10. 10 is the answer here. So we got the first two questions. So the median is 10. How do we do it? Oh, by the way, to save time, you don't have to write them all out. I was just showing everything, but you could have just said, look, up to here, there's 3 and 4 numbers. There's 7 numbers. Now there's 10 more, so that's 17 numbers. 8 more, that's what, 25 numbers. 3 more, that's 28 numbers. Oh, come on, Brett. Let me try to write that a little bit better there. 28 numbers. 4 more, that's 32 numbers. So you could have said, oh, wait, and then 3 more. That's 35 numbers. So you could have said, look, up to this point, there's 35 numbers. Up to this point, the last 9, there's 32 numbers. So I'm looking for the 33rd number. It's one of those 10s. The 10s, the 3 10s are the 33rd, 34th, and 35th numbers. So you could have found it more easily just using that table. You don't have to write them all out. Then you go, okay, grab the 33rd number, then the next one, because there's 2 in the middle, add them and divide by 2. Boom, 10 is the median. That'd be quicker. All right, but I wanted to show the whole thing for thoroughness. Okay, so now, whoops, it's over erased there. All right, so now 2 more questions here. What percent have at least 12 pair of shoes? Well, at least 12 is 12 or more. That's what it means. At the least, at the lowest, 12 could be more. So how many students have 12 or more shoes? Well, all these people have at least 12 or more pair of shoes. How many people is that? Add them up. 2 plus 8, 7, 11, 21. 21 students. 21 students have at least 12 pair of shoes, 12 or more shoes. So that's 21 students, but they want percentage. So that's going to be 21 out of 66 total students, right? You just have to divide by the total. Whenever you want to get a percentage, let me write that. It's the number of students over total students. So it's 21 over 66, which comes out for me 0.31818. Then you got to move the decimal 2 places because you got to make it a percentage. Yeah, that's enough right there. There we go. 3.8181%. So 31.8181%. About 31% of the students have at least 12 pair of shoes, 12 or more pair of shoes. Final question's a tricky one. 11%. Well, let me change that. Let me make it a little harder. I'm going to make it 42%, just to make it more interesting. What if they said 42% of all respondents have fewer than how many pair of shoes? How would I do that? 42%. What you're going to need to do is find out percentages along the way. Like, what if we just did the first group? Like, oops, what did I just do there? What if I just did 4, 4, 4? The first 3 students, right? First 3 students have 4, 4, 4 pair of shoes. That's 3 out of 66 students. If you divide that on your calculator, you get 0.045, move the decimal 2 places, 4.5%, or you can round it, 5% of the students have 4 pair of shoes. No, let's go further. Let's go 4 and then put in a bunch of 5s. Come up to here now. So that's 4, 4, 4, and 5, 5, 5, 5, 7 out of 66 students. Divide that on your calculator. That's 0.106, which is 10.6%, or 11%. 11% of the students. So we need a little more. So I'm going to take a jump. You just have to jump forward. I'm going to jump forward to like right here. How many is that? 3, 4, 10, and 8. So 3 plus 4 plus 10 plus 8, that's 8. That's 25 out of 66. If you divide that in your calculator, you get 37.8% or 30%. No, that's not enough. We want 42. Let's try one more. So 3, 4, 10, 8, and then throw in that next 3. So I'm just going up the line. 3, 4, 10, 8, throw in that next 3. That's 28 out of 66. That's 42%. And point 42, which is 42%. There it is. So in other words, 3, 4, 10, 8, 3. Where's that? 3, 4, 10, 8, 3. That stops right here, right? See it down here? 3, 4, 10, 8, 3. Those are the number of students that have what? 8, 7, 6, 5, or 4 pair of shoes. So what that, I finally found that percentage that they're meaning these people in this zone, whoops, I went too far. These people right here have 8 or less pair of shoes, don't they? 8 or less. In other words, that's the same thing as saying there's 9. Fewer than 9. They have fewer than 9 pair of shoes. They have 8 or less pair of shoes. They have fewer than 9. And that comes out to be 42% of them all, right? When I added up these numbers, divided by 66, I got 42%. So fewer than 9. So 42% of all the respondents have fewer than what? 9. Fewer than 9 pair of shoes. So there we go.